Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Welcome to Learners Podcast. Today is the second session on the programming for the non-IT professionals. This is a part of our training for the data science. In the previous session, that was an orientation session in which I have discussed the objective of this course and the methodology that I am going to adopt in it. Well, what is the computer? This is a thing that we are going to learn today. Before the start of the programming, it doesn't mean that I just open up the interface in front of you and just start doing the coding and explain you that it is not so. Basically, first of all, you have to develop some basic understanding. So we start our discussion, the first building block, you can say. The first building block that we are going to learn is that we have to understand what I mean when I say that think like a programmer. Think like a programmer. Think like a programmer. There are two kinds of the computer users. One are the common users and others are the programmers. There are the different in these two kinds of users. These two kinds of users, both of these users, they communicate with computer. They talk with the computer. Okay, this machine that we say is a computer, they talk with this computer. Right now at this stage, okay, so at this stage you have to understand this thing. A common user is the one who works on this computer. Okay, whatever machine he has in his hand, either he is driving a car, he is consulting the speedometer, okay, he's running, you can say, some machine in the factory which has the computer attached with it, or someone is working on the laptop and using the MS Office or MS Word and Excel and all these things. Someone is using the accounting software. All these are the users of the computers. They are basically working, they are using this machine according to the capability that this machine, that particular machine is offering to them. Okay, this thing is very important. And another thing that I want to tell you, all the non-IT professionals, that whatever is the concept of program of the computer in your mind you have, just keep it with you. Okay, I'm not going to disturb your concept about the programming right now because it might confuse you. You might start asking me some question which are not, I mean to say, at this stage, at this very stage, which are necessary. Okay, with the time you will automatically, as my lecture will move on, you will understand what the computer is and what should be the definition of the computer and what should be the concept of the computer. So whatever concept you have, there are the two kinds of the users. One is the common user and one is the programmer user. Well, who is the programmer? Programmer is the one who also talks with the computers. Okay, but he talks with the inside machinery, inside components, inside, you can say, the departments of the computer. He has the picture in his mind about the inside functionality of the computer. He has the logic in his mind. He has the concept. He has the, you can say, and kind of the, you can say, framework in his mind. He understands when he communicates the computer, when he presses the key, what happens inside the computer. He is the programmer. One of the, you can say, the capability of the programmer is that he is just like an analogy. Take an analogy of the doctor. If you go to the doctor, okay, when he, after asking or giving him some certain basic information about the problem you are facing, okay, what he does is, he, while listening you, he has, his mind is looking inside your anatomy. You got my point? He understands which organ of your body is is being affected, okay, which is the creating the problem or which is not functioning properly. Same is the approach when I say the think like a programmer. You have to see inside this machinery, and for developing this approach, you have to have the basic understanding. Like in biology, we say the basic anatomy of the human body. So you have to understand the anatomy of the computer also. You have to see what are the internal departments, what are the internal components, what are the internal circuitry of the, you can say, the different units of the computers. Computer is not just an ordinary machine, you know. Although these modern computers have the recent history, not more than 70. I mean, the first the real computer was the ENIAC in 1946. It came in the market. But after that, so far we are in the sixth and touching the seventh generation of the computer. I think if you are interested to know the history of the, you can say, the timeline of this computer, so you may go to the Wikipedia, just like write the computer on it on the Wikipedia, and you will find the document in which you will see all the, and this is good way to learn as well. You just see the history, how we evolve into its present time. Ignore all those difficult terminology that you might come across, but just as a general knowledge, you just see what are the different generation, what were the different stages. I will also be sharing some useful resources with you in the blog, so that if anyone is interested to know the history of the computer, he may learn that. But for me, for the programmer, it's not that important. I don't. That's why I'm not focusing on that. Okay, so with this understanding that programmer is the one who understands the inside, you can say, the functioning of the computers. Okay, it doesn't mean, again, there is some exception, that I am not saying that all the functioning of the computer you need to learn. I'm not saying you have to be the hardware expert for this. No, not at all. The necessary, I mean to say, the functioning that is related with the programmer. Because when you look like act like a programmer, there is something inside your mind that is working inside your mind, the inside of the computer. Okay, that framework that developed inside your mind, I am talking about that. And I am going to, in today's lecture, I am going to discuss about that. So when you see the computer, whatever the definition you have, just keep that concept in your mind. All these devices have the two components. Okay, one is the hardware, and other is the software. Okay, if you see the computer like this, if this is the laptop in your I mean, so you are using a laptop, it is a kind of something, a device, something like this. Is it? It is kind of a box like this. You have the keys on it. Okay, and you have the rows and columns of the keys. We say it the keyboard. All right, and there is something inside this which is not visible, and this is you say it the screen. Okay, or you say it the monitor. All right, or you might have something like this in your office. Some machine is like this. There is some monitor is placed on it, and you have the keyboard in front of it. Okay, and the table and all this thing. This is the desktop computer. Anything, I mean to say, these are the computers. So these computers are the two aspects of these computers. One aspect is called the hardware. When you see this computer, one is called the hardware and other is called the software. Hardware mean that something which is tangible. Although invisible inside this box, you can say a physical kind of the device, physical kind of the entity. That is a tangible aspect, that is called the hardware. Okay, and on the other side, there is some intangible things in it as well. Like, for example, when you work on the MS Word, there is something written on it, or like this thing you are, I mean, watching on the screen. Can you touch it? Can you pick it? You cannot do it. This is just giving you a kind of the information, kind of the knowledge. Okay, so these are called the intangible aspects of the computer. We say it the software. As a programmer, we are concerned with the software. We are not concerned with the hardware. One thing. This is the first lesson. When I say the hardware, it doesn't mean that we are, not going to know about the hardware. It means we are not going to touch the hardware. We are going to work with the computer like a common user who is just using the keyboard and mouse and all these things. So as a programmer, you are also going to do this thing. You will use this hardware, you will talk to this hardware, okay, because you have the basic knowledge, some knowledge about this hardware, because you have to operate, you have to manipulate, you have to direct, you have to, communicate with that, with those component of the hardware. Okay, this thing. Okay, another thing that I want to mention here is a common user is only using the computer. Okay, whereas the programmer, okay, the programmer is basically adding up the, he's adding up, or he is enhancing the capability of the computer. All the devices, okay, whatever program we are using this, on these machines, they are installed inside the computer. Like we are using the MS Word, so that software is provided inside that is placed inside the machine. That is why we are using this, okay, Word. If our computer is not having the MS Word in it, we cannot use it. Okay, it means we have installed some software in it. Might be you want to develop some accounting software. All the general accounting software, if they are not suitable for your particular requirement, so you will hire a programmer to add up this capability inside the computer. So the programmer adds the capability in the machine. Okay, what kind of the capability, what kind of the machine, what kind of the component, we are going to learn that today. Okay, so for this I will first draw a simple diagram to make you understand what the computer system is basically. On the very basic level, or at the very basic level, we see that the computer has this is a basic level. Computer is a kind of a system. The system is basically a kind of you can say a working machine, okay, you can say a device, all right, or you can say a working mechanism, okay, which takes few things, and it works on those things, and it gives you some results. Okay, so we say it has some input and it has some output. It gives some output, some results, and it takes some resources. On these resources it works, and you can say it processes those resources and give you the output. These are the three basic components of a system. And when we say a computer system, so computer being a system also has these basic components. So this is the basic first concept about the computer. So computer is a kind of the system, okay, which has so many components, so many, you can say, just like an organization. Organization is also a system. Any organization, they have the different department in it. All those departments are connected with each other. Okay, they work together and to meet their common objectives. Got my point? So same is all the machines in the world, all the machines, okay, they are the systems. Okay, so computer being a system is also have the functionality, three functionality, that it takes something as an input, it processes those inputs, and it gives you the results in the form of the output. So that is the basic first definition of the computer. Okay, so if we just make the definition of the computer a simple level, the computer is something that takes you can say, the data, and it processes that data and give you the information. So this thing is important to understand. What is the data? So it input, as an input, when we say the computers, it takes the data, and as it output, it gives you the information. So very basic level of understanding I develop here. Data is anything. To say facts and figures and all these things when you type on the keyboard, you provide to the computers. Okay, so that is the to say the data. Which when we talk about the data, it's the kind of the things that is meaningless. Okay, which exists there, but it is meaningless. It is not useful. This is a very simple concept about the data. Data is in the form of the, you can say, the figures, in the form of the images, in the form of the, you can say, the numbers, in the form of the characters, in the form of the text. So this is all data. It is placed there, but it is not useful. It is not giving you any information. Might be it is giving information to one person, it might not be giving information to another person. So a person who is the user for anything to be information, there are the two very important characteristics that it fulfills the requirement of the user. Okay, any information that this computer is providing you, if it is useful with you for its user, it is the information. Otherwise, it is not an information. Okay, although it is processed, but it is not information. I give you an example. For example, if in a school you say there is an attendance sheets are being maintained daily in the classes. So if the principal wants to see that, he wants to see how many students of the class A were present in today's class on any day. Okay, so when the information that would be extracted from that attendance register would be only for those students who were present in that class. And that is an information for that principal. If you provide him the information that if kind of the process, after processing that these are the students of that class, these are the students of other class, that is not useful for him. Might be he wants to use that information for some other things. Okay, it is processed, data has been taken from that attendance register. Okay, it has been processed and it has been you can say information has been extracted in the form of the report and submitted to the principal. One another example is, suppose the principal wants that how many classes were held today. Like suppose there were the 15 classes to be held in during a time slot. How many classes were held today? How many teachers were present or absent? So that information would also be taken from the attendance register, but that would be from another perspective. Okay, now if someone gives any other information, that is not information. So any processed kind of the information, data, that is useful, that is called the information. Suppose the attendance register in itself is a processed form of the data. A person is coming, teacher is marking the attendance and all these things, or any person who is marking the you can say the attendance of the teachers and all these classes that are held. Okay, that is also a processed form of the information, but that might be useful for that level of to that person who is maintaining that. Okay, so this is a very much to say a complex. You kind of say when you see the textbook, you read the books, they say that all the process form of the data is an information. So you just add another thing with that definition, that the process form of the data, which is also useful for that user who is extracting that data, who is using that data. You got my point? So computer is basically, no doubt, computer is a device which is a kind of an electronic device which takes the data as an input. It processes that data and provides you the information. Okay, and it has got the ability to to run the program, to store the program and execute the program. In general terms, I'm just giving you the concept about the computer. Okay, now I'm going to show you I'm taking you to the next level, and that is I'm going to draw the model of the computer. Okay, this is the model of the computer. This is the input unit. I hope now I don't have to write the full word. This is the input unit and this is the output unit. Clear? And this is called this particular thing that we say the processing unit. This is called in the computer we say it's the CPU. This is known as the central processing unit, CPU. This whole machine central component is the CPU of this machine. This unit is called the storage unit, and we say it the external storage. So as a programmer, you have to understand, you have to know that what are the input units, what are the output units, and what are the there are the storage units. Okay. What are these? This is called the technical name is the RAM. This is called the ROM. And this compartment or this department is called the memory unit. Memory unit. Okay, there is another name, we say it's the internal storage. This may also be called the internal storage. So this is a memory and this is the external storage, this is internal storage. When we say the storage, it means it's a kind of the place where we can store something, we can keep just something. Inside is also called the memory, like our brain, that has got the memory in it, and that is basically a storage area in our brain. This is called the one component of the computer, of the processing CPU, that is called the memory unit. What is this? This is these four blocks. I mean, this makes another component of the computer. We say it's the MPU, microprocessing unit. What is this? This is the microprocessing unit. And that is called the brain of the computer as well. Alright. There are the many component, many kind of the component, but for as a programmer or as you can say, we are concerned with the four basic, very essential components, and that those are, one is called the ALU, other is called the CU, third is called the CLK. I'm just writing the abbreviation. I'm going to explain you what is this. And last one is called the registers. Okay, I do it like this. ALU, it is arithmetic, logic unit. Other one is called the CU, control unit. CONTROL, control unit. Third one is called the CLK, that is basically clock inside the computer. What is this? What are their functions that we will learn today, inshallah. Last one is the registers, REGISTERS. These are the registers, are basically also a memory units basically. They are smaller in size, they are not as big as that of the RAM and the ROM. Okay, they are a very small amount of the information, you can keep it in these. Okay, so these are the four essential components which are existed in the MPU, microprocessing. So when we say the CPU is composed of the MPU plus the internal memory. This is the equation that you have to keep in your mind permanently as a programmer. So this is the model of the computer. That's so second level of understanding that you have developed today is this is the computer system, input unit, output unit, storage unit, ALU, clock, CU, registers, RAM and ROM. You have to learn these terminologies. Okay. We will be very frequently be using this thing. The first concept is this thing. When we say the input unit, it means all those units which help the computer to enter the data inside it. Like this keyboard. Keyboard is the kind of the device that helps you write the words, that help you to enter the information and data into the computer. So that is the input unit. This mouse that is in my hand that I am using, that is also an input unit. On this laptop, there is also a small pad on which when I move my finger, so this, you can say this cursor is moving. That is also a kind of the touch pad, you say it. That is also input device. This camera which is fixed in front of me, which is taking my picture, and the mic that is recording my sound, that is also an input device. So all those devices which are, you can say, are used to get the information inside the computer, they are called the input devices. So again, go to the Wikipedia, just write the input devices. Okay, you will find the list of the so many input devices. Next one is the output devices. Output devices are those for which the computer use to provide the information to the outside world. Okay, like the one of the major example is this, common example is this monitor in front of you. Okay, this screen is whatever I'm writing, I can see what I'm writing. Okay, you are watching this video. This is the output device for you. I mean to say that screen is showing you the video. All right, the sound that is coming to the speaker, that is an output device. Okay, if you attach some machine with this in the factory, then if that machine is being operated and it is giving you some information, that is an output device. Okay, so these are the input and output devices, are also called the peripheral devices. There is a word, technical word, that is a technical jargon you have to learn, that is peripherals. Peripheral devices. Okay, what is important is, as a programmer, you have to develop a logical framework in your mind about this thing. I'm not showing you anything so far to see it. Okay, I'm not saying you that what is the shape of the RAM, what is the weight of the RAM, okay, what is the color. No need to learn about that. But you have to know what is the functioning of this RAM, what is the purpose of the ROM, what is the purpose of the clock, what is the purpose of the ALU, arithmetic logic unit, and all these things. Okay, this thing is important. If you, and how these are related with the programmer, that is very important thing. How you use the RAM, how the programmer use the ROM, how the programmer use the input devices, and all those devices which are the output devices, how to address those devices. Okay, this thing is important, and for that you have to understand the internal anatomy of these components. Okay, these are the very few components. Okay, but if you see, actually, if you go onto the Wikipedia and just write you just write CPU, you will find the picture of the, I mean to say, very complicated kind of the picture inside the green sheet. I mean, there are thousands of components installed on it. It would be very difficult for you to find anything. But on the internet, you will just go on the Google, like write CPU and click the images. You will find the thousands of the pictures of the CPU. I cannot show you here because of the copyright reasons, but anyone can go and see there. But that will not make you a programmer. This thing is for sure. You might become a computer engineer, but you cannot become a computer programmer. For the computer programming, you have to develop the logic, you have to understand the functioning of these things. What method I am going to adopt is that I thought on it, how can I make you, for a non-IT programmer, to these difficult, I mean to say, how can I make them understand how they are functioning? So it reminded me of my time when I started, I joined this IT industry, or started my career in the computers. I remember I was just reading a book there, and that was the kind of the assembly language. Yes, I remember that was assembly language, a book on the assembly language, discussing some kind of the processor, microprocessor. So when you learn the computer architecture and the microprocessor, you have to learn the assembly language as well. So in that, that writer has given me the analogy about the machine. I remember since that day, after that, this computer was never a problem for me. Learning the computer, the confidence, or that was required to learn this computer. That was I meant to say that I have gained with that example. So I thought I give you the same example, and with the confidence that this will definitely will help you to understand all these things, so that in this first lecture, after this lecture, you will never have to consult about the RAM and the ROM and the ALU and CU and clock and all these things. I mean to say we will enter into the, you can say, a software side. We will start learning about the software side of the computers. Okay, so for that I am going to show you another, take you to the another next my slide. I have made the frame for the sketch for that as well.